It's Hall of Fame weekend here for the Army West Point Athletic Department. Zach Daly at Ike Hall, 5 brand new members set to join the Army Sports Hall of Fame, and we'll have a chance to catch up with 3 of the inductees in a little bit, as well as Athletic Director Mike Buddie on his first induction weekend. But before that, let's send it over to Rich DeMarco at the podium to start this evening's festivities.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies red clear, the balls bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Great job. Thank you, Mary Kay. I'd now like to introduce Chaplain Colonel Matthew Polakowski, who will offer tonight's invocation.
Almighty God, we are fearfully and wonderfully made in your image, body and soul, male and female. We thank you for tonight, when we will once again recognize those culled from our ranks who have used the powers of soul, intellect, and will to drive their bodies to incredible limits, displaying the genius of your divine design. In honoring them, we honor you. And we thank you for all your gifts: body, soul, food, drink, music, camaraderie, and friendship. We ask your blessings on all those things and on those who will serve us tonight. Amen.
Thank you, Father. What an amazing night and event this is. When you think about the history of Army West Point sports, going back more than 100 years, this is a night where we truly honor the best of the best. I'm amazed at the accomplishments on an academy and national scale of all of our inductees each and every year. We're joined by many special individuals this evening, but none more distinguished than the members of our current leadership here at West Point. Please give a warm welcome to Army Director of Athletics, Mr. Mike Buddie, as well as West Point Chief of Staff, Colonel Mark Beeger, and his wife, Amy. Also like to extend a special welcome to all of our distinguished visitors and family members here tonight. At this time, I'd also like to acknowledge several current members of the Army Sports Hall of Fame joining us here this evening. From the class of 1959, Heisman Trophy winner Pete Dawkins, who was inducted as part of the Army Sports Hall of Fame charter class in 2004. From the class of 1964, Walter Orline, who was inducted in 2006. From the class of 1970, Gary Steele, who was inducted in 2013. From the class of 1994, Jason Stewart, who was inducted 2 years ago in 2017. And finally, a fixture around Army athletics for more than 50 years, Matty Salvani, who was inducted 1 year ago. I'd like now to introduce, here in his first of what will be many Army Sports Hall of Fame induction banquets, the Director of Athletics here at West Point, Mr. Mike Buddie.
Well, good evening, everybody. I appreciate you making the efforts to be here. It's been a great day, and it's going to be a great weekend. But obviously, we're here tonight to celebrate excellence, something that I've become more and more familiar with every day that I get to spend on this post. I've been here 3 months, for those of you who have not kind of followed my trajectory. And when I interviewed for this job, I called a friend of mine named Tim House, who a lot of you may know. You've had interaction with Tim. And he said, it's not for everybody, but if you want to be excellent in everything that you do, it's the perfect next opportunity. And here I am 3 months into this job, and it couldn't be more true. I mean, literally every day at West Point, and I'm speaking, I'm preaching to the choir right now, but I started this morning with coffee with General Martin Dempsey, one of the most respected 4 stars probably living on the planet right now. Got to have some follow-up conversations with meetings that I had with the folks at the college football playoff, where I was in Dallas the last couple of days. Spoke to the 1979 and 1984 reunion classes at lunch, and ended my day getting to meet a Heisman Trophy winner and his new bride. So this is a typical day at West Point. And by the way, as I'm doing this, I'm looking out my window, and there's an eagle flying by and a helicopter flying by. So it may not be for everybody, but it is for me. And so as I look back, and I've gotten to speak to our inductees tonight, what an incredible honor this must be. It's overwhelming to me as I kind of prepared for my remarks tonight. When you think about the small sliver of the population of 17, 18, 19-year-old men and women who are disciplined enough, committed enough, intelligent enough to take advantage of this opportunity to attend West Point. And then you look at the thousands of cadets who have attended this great academy, and that tiny little sliver of people who are in this elite club of the Hall of Fame. It's really humbling to think about how difficult it is to get this opportunity. And so to recognize the current Hall of Fame members as we have, and then certainly what Carl and Mike and Dennis have been able to do, it's amazing to think about. And so I'm a firm believer in the power of athletics when paired with academics, and certainly here, your commitment to the military. It can do tremendous things in your lives. And I was fortunate to have pursued an athletics career, and I had a dad and a coach, and they used to say, athletics reveals character, because sooner or later you're going to find somebody who's better than you, stronger than you, faster than you. They're going to knock you down. And true athletes get up, dust themselves off, and they learn resilience and character and all of those things. And unfortunately, I probably have more character and resilience than I wish I would have, because I got knocked down a lot. But these gentlemen that we're honoring tonight have truly shown that resolve. And every day that I get to spend with the cadets here on post, I'm more in awe of the commitment that they make. And so I'm truly honored to be a part of this family, truly honored to be here tonight. I'm glad the voice, as I like to call him, has said this is going to be the first of many, because I'm all in 3 months, the way that my family has been embraced. Getting opportunities like this to meet so many of you is a truly meaningful and impactful way to make a living. And so I hope you enjoy the evening. This is the first of many events that we're going to have to truly recognize the excellence that we'll get to learn a little bit more about tonight. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of the West Point community, and congratulations to our 3 inductees and our 2 other inductees who couldn't be here tonight as well. So enjoy your evening.
Thanks, Mike. So now we're going to break for dinner. Just a reminder, the photo booth is open. We'll be open throughout dinner. Make sure you take advantage of that. Enjoy your meal, and we'll have the rest of the program coming up in just a little bit.
Back here in the Ike Hall Riverside Cafe, brand new athletic director Mike Buddie. Glad enough you could join us right now. So Mike, it's been a whirlwind of 3 months for you. Heck, a whirlwind of a week for you. You've been all over the place. But to culminate it with this weekend, the Hall of Fame induction, and then the football game tomorrow, what's it been like for you to be a part of this for the first time?
Yeah, it's certainly been a whirlwind, but I think whirlwind is just going to be the new normal for me, and I absolutely embrace it. And so to get to recognize these 5 new inductees, and 3 of whom are here tonight, and such great stories. I mean, one came from Korea, one came from South Carolina, one came from Minnesota, and they're just so touched by this honor. I think there's a lot of Hall of Fames out there that it's great that you're in the Hall of Fame, but you can see in their eyes and in their words that they're truly honored to be a part of this, and to be recognized by the Army Sports Hall of Fame is a great honor. So for me to be a part of it, it's just been a thrill, and it's going to be a great weekend here as we celebrate, the Buffalo Soldiers and the Diversity and Inclusion Week, Branch Week, and now we've got Morgan State coming to town. It's going to be a great weekend.
Well, you can appreciate this in a different level as well, because you were an athlete, you pitched on some of the biggest levels. So how do you see them? You said going into any Hall of Fame is an accomplishment, but to be this one, to see this as an athlete, how do you appreciate that from that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's math, right? So you look at the tiny percentage of kids in the United States who are smart enough, driven enough, committed enough, disciplined enough to be a West Point cadet. That's such a small portion of the population, and then this group that's even the tiny fraction of West Point cadets who have risen to the occasion to be Hall of Famers. It's mind-boggling to think about the minuscule percentage of people in the world who qualify for this club. And so yeah, certainly I appreciate it. I know how difficult it is to succeed at any level athletically, but to do it on this stage while balancing the academic and military workload, it's truly humbling to be in the presence of some of these inductees.
Well, thanks for enjoy the rest of the evening and enjoy the weekend.
All right, thanks, Zach.
That's Athletic Director Mike Buddie. We'll have more after this. Back at Ike's Riverside Cafe, one of the newest members of the Army Sports Hall of Fame, Mike Bernstein, class of '95. First off, Mike, congratulations on the honor. When you got that call, what did it mean, and kind of what was going through your head when you're like, wow, I'm a Hall of Famer now?
I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. I know there's a lot of great athletes that have passed through here at West Point, and just to be amongst the small group of people in this Hall of Fame, it was stunning. And I remember talking to Mike Buddie, and I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you serious? I think I asked him that 3 times. Are you serious? Because I was just in disbelief.
Well, a great track and cross country runner in your day, and just what are some of the lessons that you were able to take away from track, and how did kind of being able to run at the academy shape the officer you were and the man you are today?
Well, in terms of success, I mean, for me, it was having a great group of individuals around me. Because you have a great group of individuals that have a high par and keep themselves accountable, keep each other accountable. That made all the difference for me. But I think there's so much mental capacity that is required in track and field and cross country, and it's really about being mentally tough, and that's where that really plays into West Point's, what they do with cadets, and they mold them and make them mentally tough, and that helps so much out there on the track and in the cross country.
Well, Mike, thanks for a couple of minutes. Enjoy the rest of the evening and the rest of the weekend, and congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Mike Bernstein, class of '95, and a brand new Army Sports Hall of Fame member. We'll be back after this. Back at Ike's Riverside Cafe, joined by another new Army See, I already messed up once. Back at Ike's Riverside Cafe, joined by another new member of the Army Sports Hall of Fame, gymnast Carl Brunson from the class of 1950. Carl, first off, congratulations on making the Army Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
And I heard you up at Kenna, the Hall of Army Sports earlier, and you said your daughter answered the phone, and when you found out, what was that moment like when she's the one who told you?
Well, she's the one answering the phone, and down in the country, the phone service isn't too good, and she says, I think you have the wrong number, sir, and she hung up.
Well, I'm glad they finally were able to get a hold of you and you were able to make it up here today to be honored. And just gymnastics, it's a sport that's changed throughout the years, but in some ways it's kind of still the same. And how have you kind of seen the sport develop, and what impact did the sport have on you back when you were competing?
It's really kind of unbelievable because they've come up step by step some of the things that they're doing now on the horizontal bar, for example, we would have considered them illegal and dangerous to life and limb and good health and longevity. But they're doing with reckless abandon now. The kids have gotten so good, and I can't believe it. Can't believe it.
And then just this honor, you're as Mike Buddie said, you're a fraction of a percent to make the Hall of Fame. So have you let that sink in, and what does it mean to you to be among some of the greatest athletes to ever come through such a historic institution?
All that group tonight in a minute. There's no way you can explain that. See, to be feted by your classmates, teammates, friends, and extensions thereof, it's something that only happens to a man once in his lifetime, and it doesn't happen to many people. And I'm just not only surprised, but absolutely thrilled to death. And the people up here and the Academy have wrapped this thing up in a beautiful bow, and I'm delighted.
Well, Carl, thanks for a couple of minutes. Congratulations. Go enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Thank you much, my friend.
More after this. Back at Ike Hall, another brand new member of the Army Sports Hall of Fame, Dennis Trujillo. First off, Dennis, congratulations on the honor, and just what did it mean to you to find out that you're coming into the Army Sports Hall of Fame?
Incredible. I graduated 43 years ago and gave
Well, you mentioned 43 years since you graduated, and you haven't been back to the Academy, you said, in 43 years. So to finally come back and to see the place again, to a place that had such an impact on you, what's it mean to finally be able to come back to West Point?
It's like one of the best days of my life, is the best way to put it. This morning I got up early and ran through the cadet area when they were on their way to class. It was just beautiful to see, and to see how the place has improved in terms of facilities. Great.
And then to be honored as a track and a cross-country runner, what did this sport teach you as an officer, and as what are some of the life lessons you took away from being an athlete here at West Point?
How to put up with hardship, and how to push through when it hurts, and helping you and being brothers, and just a chance to for the sport. I just love to run. And
well, Dennis, thanks for a couple of minutes. Enjoy the rest of the evenings, and congratulations again.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Back to Rich DeMarco after this.
I'd like to invite United States Military Academy Chief of Staff Colonel Mark Beeger and Army's Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Mike Buddie, to the front of the stage area to assist in our special presentations to the members of the Army Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2019. Our first inductee stands as one of the most storied coaching names in West Point history. He built a distinguished career as a participant and a coach, leading the Army wrestling program for more than 2 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, Lloyd Appleton. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Lloyd Otto Appleton. Head coach, wrestling. Lloyd Appleton compiled 86 dual match victories in 20 years as Army's head wrestling coach from 1935 to 1954. Individual accomplishments under Appleton's mentorship included 10 Eastern Intercollegiate Wrestling Association champions, 39 EIWA place winners, and a national runner-up. Appleton was a distinguished wrestler at Cornell College, where he was undefeated in dual meets and qualified for 2 Olympic teams, capturing a silver medal for the United States in the 158 weight class in the 1928 Summer Games in Amsterdam and participating in the 1932 Games in Los Angeles. Appleton was elected to the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in 1983. Lloyd Otto Appleton, head coach, wrestling. Our second nominee starred in both cross-country and track and field during his time at the Academy. He was a 3-time All-American and ranked as a top performer on both regional and national levels. From the class of 1995, Mike Bernstein. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1995, Michael Leland Bernstein, cross country, track and field. Mike Bernstein earned 10 varsity letters during his West Point career, 3 each in cross country and indoor track and field, and 4 in outdoor track and field. A 3-time All-America selection, twice in cross country, as well as in the 3,000-meter run indoors. Bernstein led Army to a 6th place showing at the NCAA Championships in 1993 and was part of 4 Patriot League team track and field outdoor championships. Bernstein won the Patriot League individual cross-country title as a senior and was named the top male performer at the conference's indoor track and field meet that year, and also placed in the top 50 at the NCAA cross-country championships twice. From the class of 1995, Michael Leland Bernstein, cross country, track and field. Mike Bernstein. Congratulations, Mike. Our third inductee rates as one of the most decorated gymnasts in Army history. He earned 3 All-America citations and was widely regarded as one of the premier gymnasts in the East. From the class of 1950, Carl Brunson. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1950, Carl Lachlan Brunson, gymnastics. Carl Brunson had a legendary career at West Point. In 1950, Brunson captured the ECAC individual title while leading Army to a 7-0-1 dual meet record and a tie for first at the Eastern Championships. In Brunson's 3 varsity seasons, the Black Knights had a 24-1 dual meet record, including a pair of wins over Navy. Brunson was a 3-time All-American, placing 5th on the parallel bars his junior year, and as a senior, finishing 3rd on the parallel bars and 2nd on the high bar. From the class of 1950, Carl Lachlan Brunson, gymnastics. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Brunson. Congratulations, Carl. Our next honoree authored an outstanding athletic career along the banks of the Hudson. A 2-time All-American at the tackle position, he also earned 4 varsity letters in track and field and set a school record in the shot put. From the class of 1929, Mortimer Bud Sprague. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1929, Mortimer Ernst Sprague, football, track and field. Bud Sprague played a key role on one of the greatest offensive units in Army football history as a key blocker for greats Light Horse Harry Wilson and Chris Red Cagle, and helped lead Army to a 31-6-1 record over his 4 seasons. A 2-time first-team All-America selection as a tackle, Sprague served as team captain in 1928 when the Black Knights finished 8-2. Sprague came to West Point from the University of Texas, where he earned 2 additional varsity letters and was elected to the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame in 1970. Sprague also earned 4 varsity letters in track and field at West Point and set the academy record in the shot put. Following a time in private business, Sprague returned to active military duty in 1942 as an executive officer and was present at the historic Malta and Yalta conferences. From the class of 1929, Mortimer Ernst Sprague, football, track and field. Got to speed up my voice a little bit there, I guess. Congratulations to Bud Sprague. Our 5th and final honoree remains one of the most storied names in Army cross-country track and field history. An elite distance runner, he excelled in both cross country and track and field and remains firmly entrenched in the West Point record books in both sports. From the class of 1976, Dennis Trujillo. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1976, Dennis Robert Trujillo, cross country, track and field. Dennis Trujillo had a record-breaking career in both cross country and track and field at West Point, earning 3 All-America certificates in the 10,000 meters outdoors during his senior year, as well as the indoor 2-mile run and outdoor 3-mile run as a junior. Also during his junior campaign, Trujillo became only the 2nd cadet runner ever to win an IC4A championship and also captured a heptagonal title. Among the Academy records Trujillo held at the time of his induction into the Army Sports Hall of Fame are the 2- and 3-mile runs, as well as the cross-country course record. In 1980, as lieutenant, Trujillo qualified for the United States Olympic Trials. From the class of 1976, Dennis Robert Trujillo, cross country, track and field. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1976, Dennis Robert Trujillo, cross country, track and field. Dennis Trujillo had a record-breaking career in both cross country and track and field at West Point, earning 3 All-America certificates in the 10,000 meters outdoors during his senior year, as well as the indoor 2-mile run and outdoor 3-mile run as a junior. Also during his junior campaign, Trujillo became only the 2nd cadet runner ever to win an IC4A championship and also captured a heptagonal title. Among the Academy records Trujillo held at the time of his induction into the Army Sports Hall of Fame are the 2- and 3-mile runs, as well as the cross-country course record. In 1980, as lieutenant, Trujillo qualified for the United States Olympic Trials. From the class of 1976, Dennis Robert Trujillo, cross country, track and field. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Trujillo. Congratulations, Dennis. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more round of applause for the Army Sports Hall of Fame class of 2019. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dennis Trujillo, who will deliver the class acceptance speech.
I'm a little nervous, so I might sound like those videos a while ago. Well, I'm speaking on behalf of my fellow inductees, all of whom you've just seen on the videos. But let me just say it's Coach Lloyd Appleton, Carl Brunson, Bud Sprague, and my fellow distance runner, Mike Bernstein. And myself, we want to tell all of you this. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And since this is West Point, we will express our gratitude in order of rank. First is God. That's fair enough. He has the most stars. And we thank you, God, for your grace in bringing us all here together. And bless everybody here, bless West Point and the Corps of Cadets. We thank the athletic director, Mike Buddie. Thank you for bringing your great expertise and positive energy to lead Army West Point sports. Thank you to the West Point Chief of Staff, Colonel Mark Brieger. We're grateful to the selection committee for the hard work and effort you put into the selection process for making the Hall of Fame events so enjoyable and memorable for all. Special mention to Bob Beretta and Maureen for your kind and helpful coordination in assisting us inductees here today. Thank you. 2 other special mentions. my classmates are here, class of 76. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming. In the early 90s, there was an explosion of running success under Coach Basil and the runners from the classes of the early 90s. They're all here today, and you guys made us proud, and thanks for being here. And Coach Smith is trying to reconstruct what you guys did. Thanks for being here. Well, to put it simply, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame today, we, the 5 of us as cadets, laid it all on the line for sport, for our sport. What do I mean by that? The best way to express this is to quote Steve Prefontaine, and many of you are saying, who's that? He's the best distance runner our country has ever had. He's the only person who won the NCAA title in his event, the 3-mile, all 4 years at Oregon. And at one time, he held every American record from 2 miles to 10,000 meters. He was my hero. He died young in a car accident at the age of 24. But anyway, what he has to say about running applies to all sports. Here's the first quote. I'm going to train so that it's pure guts race at the end. And if it is, I'm the only one who can win it. A lot of people race to see who's fastest. I run a race to see who has the most guts. Somebody may beat me, but they're going to have to bleed to do it. That's the attitude he had. And this is my favorite quote of his. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. So to make it up here with Mike and Carl and the others, we gave it our best. And that applies to anything, whether it's military service, becoming an engineer, a dancer, or a poet. I was such a great admirer of Pre that after I graduated and I was a lieutenant at Fort Hood, I was training to qualify for the Olympic marathon trials, and all my friends started calling me Tree with a T. Here's a final quote from Steve Prefontaine. Once again, it applies to all sports. A race is a work of art. Some people create with words, or with music, or with a brush and paint. I like to make something beautiful when I run. I like to make people stop and say, I've never seen anyone run like that before. Of course, all cadets take their athletic experience at West Point with them into the U.S. Army. Whether it's intramural sports or Corps Squad, those sports are with you when you enter the Army, and I have an anecdote of that experience. Coach Kroll, who was the cross-country and track coach when I was here, and he entered the Hall of Fame in 2013, was a great mentor. He passed away during cross-country season in my senior year. I was in a morning history class, and someone told me that Coach had died away. God bless you, Coach. Our officer representative, Colonel Beale, took over, and he said Coach Kroll had penciled in his notebook a long run at Black Rock Forest for that day, the day he passed away. That, in fact, was his last will and testament, so we did it with heavy hearts. We got in the back of Dukes and Half trucks, and we went to Black Rock Forest for a 10-mile workout in the hills. But anyway, it applies to my Army service because I learned this, a valuable lesson. You carry on with the mission no matter what happens. General MacArthur nailed it about the fields of friendly strife. Athletics prepares us for adversity. Officers who know what it is like to push themselves to the limit are better able to endure the hardships that come with the profession. A motto here is, every cadet is an athlete, right on. That's the way it has to be. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. What an amazing group of individuals. Tremendous speech, Dennis. How about another round of applause for this 2019 Hall of Fame class? It's time now for an honor which we do not bestow annually at this banquet, but only on special occasions. I'd like to welcome back Mike Buddie for the presentation of the ODIA Distinguished Service Award.
So it's a night of recognition and celebration, obviously, and thank you for recognizing the voice of the Black Knights, Rich DeMarco, Bob Beretta, Mo. I never knew that your name was Maureen until literally just now. Mo, who worked obviously extremely hard behind the scenes to make this evening an event of this caliber. So as Rich mentioned, this is a great opportunity for one last piece of recognition, and this is an unusual circumstance, but Distinguished Service Award is from the heart, right? When we talk to our cadet athletes, we talk about, you know, showing up every day with energy and passion and commitment. And those three words jump out at me when I talk about retired General Sam Lessie, who's here with us tonight, whose unmatched energy and passion and commitment for decades supporting our cadet athletes has not gone unnoticed. And so I'm honored and thrilled to be able to present our ODIA Distinguished Service Award to Sam Lessie. So we started our evening at the Kenna Hall of Sports, which is a true, I think, a gem for the athletic department here at West Point, but goes unnoticed sometime. And so it's with great honor that I have an addendum that the Kenna Hall of Army Sports will continue to be as it is, but the Army West Point Sports Hall of Fame from this point forward will be forever associated with the Lessie family name. And so General Sam has made a commitment to help us honor not just the 5 inductees for tonight, but all inductees past, current, and future will forever be recognized and associated with such a noble and great name. So Sam, thank you for everything that you've done for us and continue to do, and it's a great honor to have you here tonight.
Congratulations again, General Sam Lessie. What a great night. And before we break for the evening and go our separate ways, I'd like to gather the inductees in front of the stage immediately after the conclusion of the event for an official group photo session. Also, a reminder, the photo booth will be open until 10 o'clock. At this time, I'd like to close this evening's festivities by have all of you join Master Sergeant Mary Kay Messenger for the singing of the West Point Alma Mater.
I want to hear you loud and strong. This is it.
Let duty
That's going to wrap it up here from Ike Hall, but we'll see you next year when the class of 2020 gets inducted. I'm Zach Daly. Go Army. Beat Navy.